What's up, everybody? Happy Wednesday. This is Crypto Live with Bitcoin Bravado. I am the Bitcoin Broski here today with Bitcoin Birch, Kyle, and BTC Jack Sparrow. Happy hump day, fellas.
Hump day? You know, I'm excited to get out of this cold-ass weather. Chicago was 80 degrees last week and is 32 degrees today. So me and Kyle here are going to head down to LA tomorrow for a couple of days for Blockchain Week, hang out with some homies. What you guys up to?
Nothing that exciting. I guess I live in the Sunshine State, so I get permanent summer. But man, City of Angels sounds pretty good right about now. It's going to be a fun trip.
Yeah, I guess I'm just going to stick to my charts then, just figuring out new tactics and new strategies, and
Yeah, we need you to stay working.
You guys have some sunshine.
Yeah, we need you to stay working. Someone's got to run the ship while we're away, and someone's got to snap on these trades.
Yeah, Ronnie, when's the next trip stateside?
Oh man, I hope soon. But honestly, right now, it's not gonna be for World CryptoCon. It's not gonna be possible.
You guys got to get down to Miami for the blockchain conference in January. That'll be fun. You'd have a good time.
What are the dates on that?
I think it's the 11th through the 15th, something like that. It's always going to be something inconvenient, right? That's kind of how it works. But
just booked it.
It's going to be a good time, though. We're going to have fun.
Hell yeah.
So I know that we've got a hot topic to discuss. A lot of people have been speculating on institutional money entering the space. Whether that matters or not is neither here nor there. There have been some big announcements today from Fidelity, Goldman Sachs regarding BACT and ErisX. So I think we should jump right in and talk about what all of this means, what's some of the news going on, who's doing what, and how will it impact all of us?
So big money is coming into crypto. If that shocks anyone listening, you haven't been listening for long. We know that these guys are on the sidelines, so to speak, but we also know that the OTC volume, at least from our sources at CBOE, CME, and other places, the OTC volume is larger than exchange volume, according to some sources. So I'm excited to talk a little bit more about what some of this means and get into some of that shit as well.
So I know that one of the initial reports was Fidelity, right? CNBC announced that Fidelity was going to be leveraging ErisX for their crypto trades, and Goldman Sachs. There was an article that came out today through Abacus that Goldman Sachs will be tied to BACT. So let's talk a little bit about those players. Fidelity's got quite a bit under management, a little over $6.8 trillion under assets under administration. So that's a nice little chunk of change. They're managing about 70 million accounts. It's a little foray.
I think it was 11 million retail too, right?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's massive. So the cool thing about Fidelity is that they kind of sprinkled in throughout the course of a couple different interviews, and I had actually heard this before, but now we have it confirmed that they've been mining Bitcoin since your boy Bitcoin Birch loaded his bags in 2015. So they've been mining Bitcoin since a $250 price, give or take. And I'd venture to guess they probably have much bigger bags than I do. So that's kind of exciting to have that confirmed from them.
Max, Kyle, what do you guys think?
Go ahead, Max.
All right, let's go. So what we've been seeing over the past couple of, probably 8 months is that the big institutional players finally showed up. We started out with futures being announced back in November, started live trading in December, and then we had rumors about Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, a couple of other banks. And it seems like more and more of the bigger players are trying to position themselves. And I'm not necessarily saying this is going to cause a lot of institutional money to flow into the space. But what they are doing is preparing themselves to have products for whoever might want to get into Bitcoin or other cryptocurrency assets. And let's be clear that, they would not start all of this if there would not be any clear interest, of course. But we also had Barclays dropping their plans for a cryptocurrency trading desk, and we saw Coinbase drop their their institutional fund. So I want to be cautious that we don't say that institutional money is like on a large scale is ready, but what they're doing is getting ready in case there is going to be
infrastructure. I mean,
building
they're
infrastructure
and investing in infrastructure. This plan for Fidelity and TD Ameritrade also, which we can get into with ErisX, this is a 2-year plan minimum. I mean, these guys are looking at 2019, 2020. And one of the things that they were quoted as saying is that, Goldman in particular. So one of the exclusives is that, and this is a quick shout out to Abacus Journal, Goldman and Sachs is going to be relying on the infrastructure that Bakkt built, because Goldman and Sachs, they truly believe that there's going to be hundreds of millions, if not billions, of trades daily in the cryptocurrency market. And that's going to be coming from all the different places: Bakkt, Fidelity, NASDAQ, ErisX, and all of them are eventually going to clear trades in places like Goldman and Sachs on a daily basis. They're providing access to regulatory, insurance, and custody solutions, and all this stuff. And Bakkt in particular, they already process billions of dollars in trades via ICE, as we talked about on previous episodes, across all the different commodity products. So I think, to your point, we're not trying to say like, guys, load your bags, the bottom is in, TD Ameritrade is going to spend $5 trillion on crypto. What we are trying to say is that they understand the writing on the wall. And if this asset class is going to be as big as we have been thinking for years that it's going to be, they are damn sure not about to miss the boat. So how much does it cost for them to roll out a solution like this? Do we have any idea what they're investing in order to make sure that they're available should crypto end up not being a giant Ponzi scheme?
I would love to make any guess, but I don't know. But I would assume that if you take Fidelity's total asset, and if you look at how much money they end up making every year, I don't think that taking the risk to create a desk for something that might not end up being used worldwide is not that much money. And they're traders like you and I am, and their job is to manage risk. If there's going to be a situation where stocks are going to crash, and for some reason there might end up being a situation where people diverge and invest in cryptocurrencies, and more people are going to do that, they need to be able to manage their own risk and manage provide the possibility for other people to manage their risk by diversifying into crypto. So I think that's what we should definitely keep an eye on, is that there's probably a lot of money that can enter. It probably will enter, but it doesn't mean it's going to enter tomorrow. But I think they know that they want to be ready in case it's going to happen.
Well, and their Fidelity is a 72-year-old company. So it's not like they started last week. Like they know how to manage their business. They understand how to project for future gains, and risk management is a thing. And when it comes down to a product like this, laying in the foundation is one thing. And we were talking a little bit about this, but people don't know what they want until they know what they can have. There's a lot of retail investors who right now maybe know a little bit about crypto, maybe know a little bit about Bitcoin, what they've heard on the news. But when Fidelity rolls out a marketing campaign behind this new product, that is when it's time to get excited. That's when you're going to see Bitcoin and crypto everywhere. We're so early for that, right? I don't think you're going to see a Bitcoin Super Bowl commercial this year. But I would venture a guess to say in the very near future, you're going to see more and more crypto presence on all mediums as these companies want to get that product out there and have people think favorably of it.
Yeah, and I mean, imagine this situation, guys. I want to this is like a little story that goes around on the internet, of course. But what happens if those trillions that are stuck in the stock market, and the stock market starts to fall down? Of course, probably every asset is going to get hit. But imagine 1% of all that money going into crypto. The crypto market is so small. It could very well be the case that crypto is going to be able to hold itself if the stock market crashes, simply just because they only diversify like 0.5% of their portfolio into crypto. What happens if that's going to happen? If people see that it's a more stable solution, I don't know. It could. What do you think?
I don't give a shit about institutional money. We were talking about this a little bit before. They're not going to miss the train. They're going to spend more money on it. They're going to get exposure to the digital asset class. What I give a shit about is some of these bigger institutional products bringing more retail exposure to crypto. So Fidelity, for instance, and TD Ameritrade and Scottrade and even Goldman, but especially the three I just mentioned, those are the ones you see commercials for on CNBC every single morning. Those are the guys advertising during the seventh inning stretch of a baseball game. Those are the guys who are bringing in maybe a slightly more savvy retail investor than what you see in the crypto space today, but certainly retail investors nevertheless. The Robin Hoods of the world, these algo money managers, these algo money management products, they're going to continue to give more retail exposure to crypto. And I'm not concerned or getting caught up at all in whether or not the big boys are trying to play, because they're going to play with or without us. I think it's kind of, it's apples to oranges. What I want to see is more FOMO from fools buying shit coins. That's how we got rich once. That's how we're going to get rich again. And I'm perfectly okay waiting until any major regulation to come across any major crypto exchange, just because I want to continue to see more retail exposure in this space.
And, to that point, I know this is something that we don't necessarily agree on. I think that, as more institutional money comes in, as these bigger players get involved, or however you want to look at it, I think that it's going to take away from some of the gains that are there in crypto, right? There's always going to be the ability to make money, but I think that we'll lose a lot of the volatility. I think we'll lose a lot of the, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 X's that we're seeing now. I think it'll just be more slow and steady, similar to a traditional market. But I know that's not necessarily something we see.
Yeah, I disagree. And that's totally cool. And I'd be curious to think what the other two of you think, Kyle and Ronnie. But a thing that we've heard about institutional money since the beginning of me getting into crypto, I've been being told that institutional money is on the sidelines since 2015. And as we've seen, actually, some of it has been. And as we've seen, some of this institutional money has started to get exposure. It has had exposure since 2015. With that being said, I've also heard that, when there's regulation and there's all this institutional money comes in, it's going to crush the little guy, and there's not going to be these massive pumps, and we're not going to be able to catch 10Xs. Did you guys watch the Grubhub stock price action in the last 8 months? I watched that price go from $20 to $150 over the course of a year, and that's a blue chip, massive $12 billion tech IPO on the New York Stock Exchange. I say that because you got to remember that a lot of what we see day to day from a stock market movement perspective as just retail investors looking at the stock app, on our iPhone, is we're seeing Apple and Netflix and Amazon. And I do agree that, especially with security tokens gaining popularity over the course of the next 12 to 18 months, we're going to see blue chip security tokens that have a lot less volatility. And we're going to see top 10, top 20 crypto companies that move up 2% or down 2%, and that's pretty much it. And only massive pumps and massive sell-offs will only occur as a result of actual FA. However, that doesn't mean that the other 98% of the market won't be just like the derivatives market, commodities market, the penny stock market that exists today, all highly regulated, a lot of institutional involvement in all those different products. Technically, there's tons of penny stocks listed on the New York Stock Exchange and the American Stock Exchange, which are technically the same company. But if any stock that has a per share value of less than $5 is considered a penny stock, and we've seen the volatility of those. We've seen weed stocks pump 300-400% over the course of a few weeks, and those are all in highly regulated markets with tons of liquidity. So I don't think we lose volatility. I think we lose Bitcoin volatility potentially, depending on how its trading pair. I think Bitcoin will become less and less of a trading pair. So I think it actually holds a little bit less value because it will no longer be when people sell an alt, they won't sell it into Bitcoin. They'll sell it into a fiat or whatever. But there's still 2,000 other cryptocurrencies like our friend Raven, and we're going to see glorious shitcoin pumps for years to come. And if you're a good trader that understands fundamentals and you do your research and all that other nonsense, you're going to have the opportunity to catch savage gains in the crypto market, in my opinion, regulation or not.
Yeah, and 100%. I think one of the instances we saw of institutional trading or institutional products would be in December, January, when we saw futures markets go live on CME and CBOE. And we definitely saw with the introduction of those two things, I would not say that was the effect they had on the market, but you could see how as soon as those products came in, the market went down. And so I think that leaves a lot of bad taste in people's mouths. I think they think, oh, when these institutional products get here, like it's going to be bad for crypto and it's going to make things less volatile. And honestly, I don't think that's going to be the case because, as Joel just highlighted, Grubhub is a $12 billion market cap company that is, frankly, a food delivery service in the United States of America. And that's 10% of Bitcoin's market cap currently. Like, what are we talking about? Like, Bitcoin is a world-changing technology financial instrument for the world. Yeah. It's going to be way more than 10 times the size of, excuse my language, fucking Grubhub. So it's like, it's just like, yeah, when money comes in here, the market is going to explode. It's going to pop off. Like that's what's going to happen. There's only 210 billion. I mean, there are different ways of measuring the actual total market cap of this space. And so some people think it's even smaller, but if we're going off of supply, multiplied by what it's actually traded for on liquid exchanges, then yeah, we're at $210 billion. That's pennies. And so when institutional money gets here, which I believe they're waiting for the products of Backed coming from ICE and Eris coming from TD Ameritrade and then Fidelity now, they're waiting for proper institutions to have onboarding ramps for them. Because right now, what did they have? They had Coinbase, what was Coinbase's institutional product that they gave up on because it wasn't successful. These big clients, these big funds are waiting for recognized names in the space to really come in and establish things for them, in my opinion. But, so.
I think we've said that. I mean, right. I do want to point out one more time, I already said this, but security tokens, that is going to be something we see a lot more of in 2019 and in 2020. And these are going to be some crucial years leading up to some more of all this stuff we're talking about. Security tokens, I think, will play differently in the market. I think different people invest in security tokens. I think there's going to be a whole different market for security tokens. I think security tokens are a lot more likely to respond like stocks do because they are literally stocks. However, this utility token market exists. Even the utility tokens that have really shit utility still exist. Even if you don't believe in that utility, that speculation still exists. And I'm excited to load my bags.
Yeah, I want to add one more thing to that. There's been discussions. People want to have security tokens, and they say they think and believe security tokens are going to be super big and super something. A security token itself is not worth anything more than just what it's worth in right. Like related to the stock. Valuation. What is interesting and what I want to tell everyone to do research in is platforms that are comparable, for example, to CRX, but created for security tokens. So they have an infrastructure with built-in regulations, geographical limitations to who can own what kind of security tokens. Like, for example, if you're in Europe, you might not be eligible to actually own some security tokens that are created in America, or the other way around. Depends on the regulations. But you want to research the protocols that are being developed today to power the systems of tomorrow when it comes to security tokens. So you take Bytem, you take Polyswarm, Raven, you take Swarm. You want to research and see what makes them good, what makes them bad, and you want to be getting some exposure to these protocols if you believe that they actually create the best solution to provide a worldwide security token market.
Yeah, and just as a final point on this, which I said last time, but I lied, but it's my podcast, so we'll do what I want. As a final point on this as well, there is a ton of reason to be bullish on security tokens, utility tokens, etc. But let's not forget the impact that I think peer-to-peer trading, as someone pointed out, shout out Stefan, as someone pointed out in the chat here, and DEXs, and how blockchain technology and decentralized exchanges may work their way into the traditional stock market as well. So we may see a threat like this. These could be seen as a threat currently to your Scott trades and your TD Ameritrades and your Goldman and Sachs's of the world. let's not forget who we're really competing against as a decentralized crypto economy. Ultimately, I envision a future, it's probably a long time down the road, hopefully when all of the people watching this and listening to this podcast live stream are all well retired from all the shit coins we bag up. However, there may be a time where there isn't a middleman anymore, and we're simply using blockchain technology or derivative thereof to trade stocks, security tokens, utility tokens, peer-to-peer at our own discretion. And that's something I look forward to as well, though I think it's quite some time down the road. We may see the entire way that the entire space, crypto and otherwise, operates in the future, and that's something to be excited about if you're someone with exposure to the digital asset class that is Web 3.0.
Yeah, it's like Anthony Pompliano says, like we're slowly shifting from a digitalized analog world to a fully digitalized environment, and I thought you
were going to throw a tagline out there.
Sorry,
yeah, I thought you were going to throw a tagline out, like the virus is spreading, or short the bankers, or whatever.
Unbank the bank. Hey, he'll get 2,500 likes on any tweet he makes because he's got the formula down. Five bullish bullet points, and then some sick tagline. God bless that man. When do I get a blue check?
Right, man.
All right, let's move into shitcoins if we can.
Absolutely. I think first we should do a little recap of some of the previous mentions over the past couple of episodes. I know there's been some performers. XLM, we'll talk about Raven separately, but XLM's had some movement. What are we looking at for the 2 or 3 that we've?
The thing I love most about this particular podcast and stream is that we talk shitcoins and price action and movement. It's not just about interviewing an influencer or listening to stories. And so hopefully those of you guys who we are so gracious to have here have felt the same way. In the last 10 episodes, we've covered a ton of bags. Recently, though, we did talk about XLM, your stellar lumens. And if you can see Girani's screen right now, we call Girani so many different things. BTC Jack Sparrow, he's Max, he's Geronimo. Just so you guys know, it's all the same guy for those listening on the podcast. But it's up about 15% since we took an entry from Monday's episode. So walk us through that real quick, if you don't mind. And for those not involved, what is the play here? What do you do if you miss this 15%? What do we think is happening?
So, we were talking about how it was very likely that XLM would probably touch this order block here. And I drew this line. I actually pulled up this chart today again, and I saw it hit. I didn't take this trade myself, so that's unfortunate. We're up about 15%, which is a really decent gains for just 2 days' time.
Don't forget TA doesn't work, folks. Complete trash. It's a scam.
Never. So yeah, right now it's kind of difficult to say what's going to happen. We're currently at resistance. You don't want to buy a big green dildo. Never ever. You want to wait until it hits your entries, and then you profit, and your risk is relatively low. So at this point, I would avoid getting in, and let me show you why. Because I think it's very possible that we get rejected right here in between, like 3,800 Satoshis. We will probably see some rejection. And then I think we might go and retest this wick right here, which has been resistance and should turn support. So I want to remain bullish. I want to see a retest of like 3,400 to 3,500 Satoshis, and then continuation upwards. If we don't, we'll have to reevaluate later on. But if you're not in this trade right now, I wouldn't enter it at this current price.
Yeah, same. So XLM, great stuff there. We also, can you pull up ICX? Excuse me, because ICX is a coin that we talked about a few episodes back, but also had an entry in the Bravado Discord for ICX. And it's just, we're fans of Icon. So does it look juicy here? It actually looks like it's rubbing right up against that same resistance.
Yeah, I think ICX is doing great. It's been ranging here, and it's been seeing a bit more volume. Volume has been increasing. When we entered, we only got filled 25% of our trade. When it actually started breaking out above 10,000 Satoshis, and it then did a bit of ranging, and then it dropped all the way here to Where did it go to? Like 914, 9.2. I think that one of these days it's going to break out of this resistance at like 11,000 satoshis. Currently, a retrace to around 1,000 would make sense, or maybe like 10,300, and then we'll probably see some upside. What I want to show you guys on this chart, what I like about
that trade's 100% filled, right, Ronnie?
Yeah, it's 100% filled right now.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah, so we're up about 10% currently on this trade. I think our average is 9,777.
Yep.
And we're currently at 10,720. So what I want to show you guys is once we can break out of my bad. Once we can break out of this area, which is above 15,000 satoshis, there's a few consolidation blocks, but ICX came falling out of the sky. So once we welcome to crypto. Once we can leave this area, I think there's going to be an insane FOMO run. Look at how steep it fell. I think we can easily at least go to 20,000 satoshis once it starts to eat up, and the volume is it's not bad. So we'll keep an eye on that.
Perfect. And also earlier this week, Kyle talked about some random shitcoin called Gifto, and shield us on that nice and hard. So turns out, kid knows what's up. What's the update on that, Kyle?
Yeah. So Gifto, since Monday when we talked about it, I think against USD is up around 10 to 11% now. I've taken some profits on that trade. It's been holding fairly consistently around 73 cents or so. And I think that Monday when we talked about it, it was probably in the 65 to 66 cent range. So yeah, it's up about 10%. I've taken some profits here, but I'm letting it go. I'll be honest with you, 90% of these cryptos, I have no idea what they do or what they supply.
Oh, great.
It's too much noise for me.
Yeah, great.
It's way too much noise for me. I mean, like if we go to the top 30 to 50 coins, like, yeah, by all means, like I'll be able to tell you and discuss with you like the actual stuff on that. But I'm a trader, so I don't have time to I'm doing too much on a daily basis to research what all these coins do. But what I do know is how to pick up these alts, and based on the volume profile I saw from Gifto, that's why I liked this trade. And volume was coming in. It's in the top 200 coins, and its volume wasn't really comparable to anything else in the space. So I could see big money was approaching, and so far it's worked out.
Yeah, and when you told me about Gifto as well, as to your point, it depends. Sometimes I act very much and very much enjoy doing the research and everything else. And sometimes we're trying to flip shit coins. With Gifto, I just took a quick peek at their website earlier this week. I keep thinking it's Friday because, unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, we're not having a Friday show with our travels coming up. So I keep thinking it's Friday. But what I did notice when I took a quick peek at their site, if I recall, they had investors that included Pantera, which we all know they got wrecked this year, but they're still, one of the largest funds in the entire space. They are partnered with Binance Launchpad, which is kind of an incubator type program. And I think I saw Nebulas and Kyber Network, which is a little bit bigger too, I think. So, sometimes it's as simple as like, okay, well, CZ likes it. So if the chart looks good, I'll try to flip this. And I think that's exactly what we saw. So thanks for the snipe, Kyle, and that was a good little. We also talked about a Bitcoin short. After all that Tether nonsense and Bitcoin pumped, we are in the profit on that short that we shared. But before we wrap up the show, in about 10 minutes, guys, we are going to hop into Bitcoin price action and take a look at what we think Bitcoin's going to do in the coming days. Try to take a little bit more of a macro view on it. So we will hop into that. And I did shill yet again my OMG bags, and that's just holding strong. I think actually technically since Monday, it's up about 2% from our shitcoin special. Right around even, maybe down 2%, 3%. But OMG is not a short-term bag for me. So,
well, and speaking of the shitcoin special, there was one project I shilled on there that happened to do pretty well. I'm kind of feeling myself right now on this call. Kind of feeling myself on this. But Ravencoin, it has absolutely outperformed expectations. there was a rumor yesterday circulating that NASDAQ was going to launch an STO on Raven, which I think that has caused the price to move the way that it has. That, from what I can tell, that's total bullshit.
Okay.
Bruce Fenton behind Ravencoin has announced that he thinks that the first use cases for the chain are going to be, games, fun, experiments, things of that nature. And then they'll level up as time progresses and they work out some of the bugs. So whoever put that NASDAQ news out, maybe that's a little ahead of things. But hey, I ain't mad at a 450 sat price on Raven, considering when we called it was like 275, 280.
Dude, you can see my screen for those on the live stream. You should be able to see it pop up here now. Before the show started, Raven was right at 400 sat. It was just struggling to break outside of this top range. Its previous high from the Binance pump on October 11th, and we were talking about the next target, and so we drew out this chart. Since the beginning of the show, we saw a pump on Raven. I mean, already broke out since we talked about this 30 minutes ago. Raven's hit 13%, is currently up 8%. So Raven's going on a tear right now. As our boy Durrani just said, you don't buy green dildos, but I do have a target on Raven at right around 485 sat. I'd look for some pretty savage rejection. However, if we get what we see here, for those who can see my screen, yesterday we saw a test of the previous resistance right around 400 Satoshi on Ravencoin. And then we saw a retracement that came as low as this candle, the low on this candle right here was 357 sat. We saw a little bit of a consolidation before it broke back up. I'm looking for that again. Let's see what Raven does here. I'm not going to be adding to any positions or buying any Raven. I'm expecting a retrace, and then if 400 Satoshi acts as support, if I personally see Raven finding support at 400 sat, and the rest of my altcoin chart plays out as we hope it does, then Raven's a bag I think I just want to continue to have exposure to. So, yeah, Pittsburgh, I think we are still in the wild, wild west territory. I think we will be for the next 18 months. So enjoy these shitcoin pumps while we have them, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, if you're listening to Crypto Live, what bear market? You know what I mean? What are we talking about?
Well, and there have been some steady gains, definitely to be had, and there's more plays to go into. I know there's one coin that we wanted to talk about, and that is ONT Ontology. So I know our man Kyle has got some juice on Ontology. Kyle, you want to take it away?
Yeah, so a lot of you, I'm sure, know about ONT because it's been one of the best performers during the first half of this bear market. It went from, I think back in April, it was around $1.39 in terms of USD. And then at its all-time high in June, made its 872. So the fact that it's 7x'd over the course of that time is, I guess, not really even important to bring up now, but that's probably how most of you know it. And then it's been real tight consolidation past 60 days or so. Hasn't really broken out like a lot of other alts have, and this is definitely a good project. It's connected to the Neo blockchain, I believe. It was airdropped. It was not an ICO. It was airdropped to Neo holders. What I like about it right now is the volume looks great on ONT, and it has yet to make a move. And what I was looking at in the past 7 days, I saw there was a big spike in volume around the 15th of October. Today's volume is around 20 million, but on that day went up to about 45 million. And the price acted accordingly. But since then, its USD price has continued consolidating and is now right on support from earlier on this October. So I really like a buy here. I think it's a good setup. I like the volume. I like where it's at technically. And so I'm going to be buying some ONT today and seeing if I can flip some in the next week.
Yeah, I like it too here, Kyle. I'm sharing my screen, podcast folks, yet again, and we're looking at support that dates back to September 20th. Kyle mentioned ONT, having this crazy run in the middle of the bear market. This started on the 24th, give or take, of March, and just went absolutely apeshit, 600% in the bear market. Now, granted, the entire alt market cap 2x'd in this time, so most altcoins, if not all altcoins, did quite well in this time. But we saw ONT do 5x in March, between March and June. So it wasn't even a super quick pump, and then get absolutely decimated since that time. So we know the upside exists. Came down as low as 84%. Currently a retracement of 80% for ONT. So if I did not have a bag of ONT currently, and I do not, I would be, in my non-financial advice opinion, looking to take positions that range from the current SAT price, 27.89, and buy ONT down to previous support, which is right around 25.70 Satoshi. So that's where I'd be looking to buy in. We'll see what happens when we hit 28.94, which is the 236 fib. The 236 fib has acted as resistance dating back over the course of the last week. It had previously been absolutely beautiful support dating back to September 27th. So if we break above the 236 for you breakout traders out there, for those who don't like buying bags until you see some type of confirmation, I might wait to see a breakout of 28.94 to load my bags on ONT. And then we could see ONT take a pretty savage run. At a minimum, I would have a target for ONT from just the breakout of the 236 fib to the previous 0.5 fib of 12%, and probably over the course of 1 or 2 days. So just like XLM or Gifto, if you can flip a bag for 12% in 2 days, that's a good trade in anyone's book, and it's one that I like personally. I can't personally speak on the difference between ONT and NEO from a technical perspective. I just have not done enough research on ONT myself, so I can't say. From a TA perspective, I also haven't looked at NEO recently. I don't know if you guys have a different opinion, but that's my ONT. That's what I'm looking at personally for ONT. So
yeah.
Any additions? Cool. So we'll get Broski. What's next on the docket? Any other shit coins you want to look at before we take a look at TA on the altcoin market cap with our last few minutes?
I think that is exactly what we should jump into. We should jump into that altcoin market cap and the bullish divergence. Oh, was there something else you wanted to talk about?
I'll be shorting ZRX today as well.
Yes.
Right.
Probably looking to fill bids from here up until $1.04. So from 98 cents to $1.04, I'll try and fill short bids over on Bitfinex. Potentially, and then I'll probably look at places stop around $1.10, maybe short 2x leverage. So that's what I'm.
Yo, my tree fell down. You see, my tree fell down out there.
I did not see that.
Yo, someone on the live stream's got to let me know. I can't be letting my trees fly off the balcony. I'm 30 stories up. Kill somebody with a damn palm tree in the middle of Chicago. Just get smacked in the face with a branch. Yeah, I love the ZRX short. I think it's a no-brainer. So obviously it's getting its Coinbase pump. ZRX is a portfolio bag for Bravado Capital, something that we share with our members as well. So I'm not touching the portfolio bag of ZRX. We got a filthy entry on that as well. But as a trader, I like a ZRX short as well. So if for those of you on Bitfinex, we'll pay close attention. Ronnie, do you have any opinions? I'd love to know what the wizard thinks of ZRX today.
Actually sold my bag today.
Okay. So that's kind of the same as shorting it.
Yeah, I'm on a one. I 1x shorted. No, I sold my bag, and I'm gonna wait for a little retrace. It might run off further, but at this point, we had all the FA unfold, so I think naturally we'll see some attention on it fading, and eventually we'll probably see a little retrace, and then we'll have to see how price develops to see where the bulls are at. When I kind of see where the bulls are at, I'm probably gonna re-enter ZRX because it's a funny coin to trade because there's a lot of interest in it, and other traders love to trade it. So there's gonna be volatility on it. There's gonna be speculation, and I want to have a bag when it drops.
Absolutely. So one of our VIP members just asked about basic attention token. You know, we've been bullish on BAT since way before it was cool. I think it's probably got a good chance of being the next Coinbase coin just because of the connections that the companies have. And basic attention token is currently looking, it broke out of previous resistance pretty hard, which was right around 3,000 Satoshi, at least based on my ticker here. Do you guys have any opinions on BAT from a fresh entry perspective? Just looking at it quickly, without taking a look at a ton of different indicators, that breakout of resistance is pretty strong. I'd like to see it consolidate here before buying a bag personally, just because I think that it pumped primarily due to ZRX listing and people trying to front run BAT being a potential next coin. So I'd probably wait on it, but
we had someone in the Discord ask whether or where to enter BAT, and we advised them to hold off for a little bit and to see whether there's going to be this resistance where it's at, what you're talking about, whether that's going to hold or not. If it's going to break that resistance, I'm fine buying that retrace. But at this point, it could really retrace maybe back to like 2,800, 2,500, 2,700 would be probably a place where I would be bullish to looking to enter.
Yeah, and I'm talking to Bravado's resident BAT trader, Don Crypto Italiano on Twitter, has been holding BAT for a good while now. And what he's waiting for is he sold a lot of his bag today, but he's waiting for a daily close above 3260 sats currently as a safe place to re-enter. So a daily close at 7 p.m. Central Time above 3260 sats if you're looking to find a place to re-enter on basic attention token.
Perfect. Thanks for that. Shout out Crypto Italiano, big time up and coming analyst with Bravado. He's over at the other office right now, Board of Trade. Big stuff. So do we hop now into altcoin market cap and then finish on Bitcoin price action with Johnny?
Let's do it.
All right. So I will share my coveted altcoin market cap screen, coveted by me. I will pull it up real quick. We've been paying close attention to the altcoin market cap movements of late. So for my podcast folks, thanks so much again for sticking with us. I just can't tell you how much I appreciate you. We are looking at the altcoin chart now on my screen for the live stream, guys. We're still watching this potential inverse head and shoulders that we've been talking about. We do spot, however, a bearish divergence if you put any weight in the relative strength index of an entire market cap. Again, I think you have to take charting an entire market cap with an extreme grain of salt. I really just did it for the likes on Twitter and it worked, and now it's going off. So I would not put too much weight into it, but we do have a bear divergence on the altcoin market cap. What that means is that with this current daily candle, the candle that we're in currently, closing, I'm looking for that to close. I'm looking for the total altcoin market cap to close above 98.5. So that's what I'm looking at, $98.5 million as a total altcoin market cap. For those who don't know where you can chart the total altcoin market cap and any market cap and any crypto for that matter, you can go to coinsignals.trade and check it out. For those of you a little bit less savvy with TA, feel free to hop on to coinmarketcap.com and just simply look at the chart that says all cryptocurrencies excluding Bitcoin, and you can see the total price, the total value of the market cap there. It's the exact same number I'm looking at. So I would love to finish today's candle, the daily, and that's the UTC daily, so we have 12 hours to go, at above 98.5 million to continue to hold my bullish bias on the altcoins. Otherwise, a drop below 96 billion for the total altcoin market cap, then again, I think that we are starting to get into some risky territory. Let's not forget, as great as we all feel, there could be still a savage wick down across the entire space, as like just a final capitulation of the bear market. But I personally I'm not looking for that. I don't think we'll see that. And I like the way that this chart is playing out right now. And so that's kind of what I'm playing. That's kind of what I'm looking at. So real important price for altcoins across a market, from a market cap perspective, is $100 billion. I've been saying that for a few weeks, actually. $100 billion is an extremely important number. If you see the total altcoin market cap come above that price, get ready to load your bags. Non-financial advice, of course, but definitely get ready to load your bags, in my opinion. What are we looking at for Bitcoin? Are we closing the short that we have over the next, since we're not going to have a Friday show, and you guys are going to have to unfortunately go without us until Monday, what would you say your prediction is over the next 4 or 5 days, Ronnie, on the total price action of BTC?
All right. So first of all, let's zoom out a little bit and then find this diagonal downward resistance that we've started to create since July. With the recent pump of Bitcoin, where we saw Bitcoin pump to 6,800 on the regular exchanges that don't trade against USDT, Tether, and to 7,800 on Bitfinex. I'm charting with Bitstamp here, which is the index of BitMEX, because I trade on BitMEX. So bear with me if you have other opinions based off Bitfinex charts. But we're currently at downtrend diagonal resistance, and if we are managing to break through that, I would not say we're out of the woods yet, because this is a pretty steep downward diagonal. What probably is going to happen if we break this diagonal, we're probably going to retest the diagonal. So we might end up, going even lower than we are after a breakout. What I like to look at as some kind of a predictive thing to see how previous price action has worked out is this so-called projection moving average, which takes off the days in the beginning and kind of shows you what the moving average will look like if you exclude the price action. And the 50-day moving average is moving down, and the 100-day moving average is actually at the same level as where we were rejected at 6,800. The fact that we had such a huge wick down makes me think there is a good chance that we actually get rejected another time by this downward trend. So that's why we opened that short. If we zoom in, I'm just going to skip to the setup we had on the Monday show. We can see there is this downtrend, local downtrend right here, which kind of coincides with the 50-day moving average as well. So that's going to be very important. If we can manage to break through the 50-day moving average, I think we're going to be midterm bullish. When we zoom in, we'll see this downtrend here. And this is why we wanted to have a short open. So we got filled the first order at 6,475. We adjusted it slightly. And then we de-risked the rest of our entry above with slightly less position size. I think that we might still hit it and get rejected. We're going to keep it open, but we de-risked it. So honestly, I still think there is a ascending broadening wedge potentially forming, especially if we look at it from the 1 hour. We could actually go up here to 6,550 and see a rejection, and then retest our range lows, which is probably around 6,300, 6,200, somewhere in that range.
Yep, perfect. Thank you so much, as always, my dude.
Well, guys, I think, if there's nothing else that you guys want to add right now, I think that's a good place for us to wrap things up. I know, wish we could be out there with you for the travels to LA. Hope you guys have a safe trip. And for those of you who continue to tune in and join us for these, we really appreciate your support and your patronage. Keep tuning in. We will be back next Monday at 11:30 a.m. Central Standard Time for our next episode of Crypto Live with Bitcoin Bravado.
And quick shill, if I may.
Jump in.
I just rolled something else out. If you go to trybravado.com, you actually will be able to get access to our private trading community, Bravado Black. If you join Bravado VIP, which is less than $2 a day, you get 2 weeks of free access to Bravado Black, which is where we have all of our trade setups, basically everything all of us do all the time, 24/7. It's organized, it's managed. We run this like the business it is. We're extremely proud of our success. And if you guys want to take a quick sneak peek at that, you get a 2-week trial to Bravado Black when you join Bravado VIP. So check out trybravado.com. This episode is, of course, sponsored by your boys at Bitcoin Bravado.
Yeah.
Boom, boom. All right, fellas. Well, until next week, have a good one.
Have a good one.
Cheers.
See ya.